10 things holding you back as a guitar player and what to do about them. Hello and welcome to another video with me, Elmo Karjalainen. It's good to have you along. You can call me this guy if my name is tricky to pronounce. Today we're taking a look at 10 things that probably or maybe are holding you back as a guitar player. And these are things that have sometimes held me back as a guitar player. So I'm hoping to help you progress faster and further with this video. Without further ado, here is number 1. You're not setting goals. This is a big one. I see this as a teacher all the time. Actually, when I get new students, I ask them, what do you want to play on the guitar? And if I get a kind of answer that I don't know, I get a bit worried. It usually doesn't lead to much. So set a big goal and then you divide that into smaller goals, and the big goal can be anything. I want to be the next Brian May, and then you set smaller goals accordingly. What does Brian May do? Well, he bends the strings, that's one thing. Then you have a smaller goal. He has nice vibrato. There's another thing to work on. Small goals, yes. Big goal, smaller goals. Not having a goal is kind of like going sailing without anywhere to go. Since you just sail around wherever. It can be fun, but you won't get as far as if you know where you're going and then you actually go there. Number 2. Very much simpler, smaller one, this one. You're holding the pick wrong. This was something that held me back, way back in the day. And I had a substitute teacher who asked me, what do you want to play? And I said, I want to play like Gary Moore. And he said, okay, show me something. And I showed him something and I probably dropped the pick and I was holding it really loosely. And he said, okay, first things first, hold the pick like this. And then he showed me, you make this. Let me get into that frame there. Hold your hand like that. Put the pick on the finger like so, roughly. And then you should have that kind of a thing, roughly. I don't know if you can see that. I'll take a picture of this. So you have a steady grip, and that was for me kind of my starting point. So I don't actually hold the pick like that anymore, but it's evolved into something that I'm very comfortable with, and I don't keep dropping the pick these days. And yeah, it's way better now than it was then. So chances are you might be holding the pick wrong. That being said, I mean, there is no such thing as wrong if you're comfortable with it. I've seen very good guitar players. I think Mattias I. Eklund might hold his pick with the middle finger, which is totally alien to me. But yeah, see to it that you have a good grip on your pick. Number 3. Well, I kind of mentioned this already. Your bends and your vibrato are off. Now, even accomplished guitar players have trouble with this. Sometimes I hear all sorts. It's not always nice. And it's surprisingly difficult, actually. So, for some odd reason, my students tend to fall into one of two categories. Either they have difficulty with bends, or they have difficulty with vibrato. Usually not both, which is weird. So get your bends sorted. Just quickly, one exercise that you can do for that is the Paul Gilbert exercise, where you don't have to actually hit a note like that. You bend the string and then you play. That's one way to work on those bends, and then you do other stuff like... If you want to check out a more detailed explanation of how I do bends, I have that stuff in my Guitar Academy. There's a link in the description to my Patreon. You get access that way. Number 5. You're not transcribing stuff. I would say your ears are probably your most important tool when playing, apart from your fingers. Transcribing is a great way to develop your ears, get better relative pitch, and that's so important. So yeah, transcribe stuff if you want to progress faster. That was number 4, I think. So now it's number 5. I think I misspoke. You're not measuring your progress. Measuring progress is easy if you're doing speed-based exercises, stuff that requires a metronome, or where you can use a metronome. So something like... It makes it so much more enjoyable when you do it with a metronome and you notice that you're actually making progress. You're going from this beats per minute to that beats per minute. From personal experience, at least for me, it's like day and night. I can't be bothered with exercises like that unless I measure my progress. Well, the problem is that speed isn't very interesting to most guitar players. I mean, I like playing fast. Lots of people do like shredding, as it were. But there are lots of players who don't. So how do they measure progress? And how do we measure progress when it comes to something else, apart from speed? Because even us shredders, we need to slow down occasionally. No, we don't. You record yourself. Record yourself. I've been lucky in that my dad has had a recording studio, all of my life. So I've been able to record myself way, way before the advent of mobile phones on a fairly regular basis. And it's given me something where I've measured my progress. I didn't really think about it as such back then, but gave me new stuff to work on. Okay, that I'm not happy with that. I'm going to work on that, and so on. And these days, when you have mobile phones, I mean, you can just let's say you're practicing those bends, and it sounds like not very nice. Whatever. You practice Parisian walkways. You do it every day, and you record yourself 1 week, and then you practice a week, and you record yourself the next week, and the next week you record yourself again. And over time, you will notice a progression there, and that will give you added motivation. And measuring progress, because you have that goal, and you're measuring progress, so great. I mean, it just works. I mean, really. Okay, then we have number 6. You're not learning licks. Learning licks is brilliant. It gives you added vocabulary on your instruments, and it can be any old licks. And I've talked about this in other videos, but learning licks is brilliant. And you can do that same measuring progress thing with licks. So I've recently I got bored with this and so on, because I hit my I'm happy with that speed. So I started doing other stuff. That's something I'm working on. Not quite there yet. I did Paul Gilbert's this one. I've been doing that, but I've also been doing a reversed kind of version of it. Just for a couple of days now. But yeah, that's stuff I can actually use in my playing when I get them kind of nailed down. So, learn licks. Number 7, you're not practicing a wide enough variety of stuff. I think it's important to, at least in the beginning, kind of stick to your goal, so you're not all over the place. But being musically diverse is equally as important, or it is at least important. And you're just practicing the same old stuff again and again, and that means that you're eventually going to be stuck in a rut. So practicing different types of things, different styles of music, can be extremely beneficial to you. And I've done this on occasion myself, where I've just kind of stuck to whatever Steve Vai or whatever I've been stuck to at the time. And practicing something different has really helped. Number 8. You're not playing with other people. That's really important. You should play with other people. I know it's not possible for everyone, because you might live in a place where there's no one around who plays an instrument. It might be that you're the only metal guy in town and everyone else likes dubstep or whatever. And yeah, I know, that sucks. But at least play over backing tracks or stuff like that, because that means at least some kind of interaction. At least you're interacting with pre-recorded music. Even better if you're playing with other people, because you'll be interacting in the moment, and it's so brilliant. I mean, just jamming can be so much fun. So that's something that might be holding you back, you not playing with other people. Number 9, you haven't learned your theory. Now, I personally don't think that theory is necessarily something you need to do. It depends on what kind of music you play and what you want. But for me, something that's really helped me was learning the modes. And I had a teacher who really saw to it that I learned the modes. And those have been so helpful for me in my day-to-day playing, because I basically improvise everything. So putting down the effort, learning the modes is definitely valuable stuff, and learn them this way as well, not just that way, because you don't want to get stuck in that box. So learning your modes is a great way to progress. And again, you can set goals here. I will learn 1 mode a week or whatever. And the last one, and this, I think there are 3 really big ones in this video. The first one was setting goals, the second one was measuring progress, and the third one is you're not focused when you practice. Put your phone in the other room, or put it in flight mode, turn off notifications at least, because you don't want to be distracted. You want your practice time to be as effective as possible. And I would say quality beats quantity. In the beginning, you won't be able to practice in an intensely focused manner for a very long time. That's something you have to build towards. But I think one ex-soccer player, football player for us Europeans, said it best when he was asked, he's been a coach as well, which is the best training drill that you ever did as a footballer? And he thought a while and he said, actually, it makes no difference which one it is as long as you do it properly. And I think that's extremely true. So focus. If you can, make sure that you're not disturbed, because that means that you can get into that flow and everything will be so much better when you're in that flow state. If you're constantly interrupted by your mother saying, "Little Jimmy, it's time to eat," or WhatsApp messages, or notifications from if you're using Snapchat, stop it. Just put your phone away. If you have a metronome on the phone, you need to use that. I would still recommend that you get an actual metronome, or you use one from on your laptop, or download an app on your phone and just turn everything else off and just use the metronome for that. I mean, focus. Don't get interrupted. When I was a kid, back in the day, we had phones where the cord went into the wall and the person speaking on the other end, his voice or her voice came along the telephone line. And when I practiced, I often just unplugged the phone because I didn't want to be disturbed, and it really helped. So if you want to watch more of my lessons, there's a playlist here. There's also a playlist with my music. Please check that out. If you liked the video, click like. I hope you did. Comment, let me know what you thought. If you have any other things that can help speed up progress, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that bell notification thing, and join me on Patreon. You get access to all of my lessons, all of my music, and a bunch of exclusives. You can even take that stuff for free. There's a link in the description to that. Other than that, I hope you have a nice day. I hope you enjoyed this and have some use of it. Take care. Bye.